I've used the Galaxy Book 2, the Book 3, the Book 4, and now I've got the Book 5 Pro. And in my experience, Samsung laptops are a little differently positioned. But is it a laptop that you should get? That's what the video is all about. But first, let's understand the Book5 lineup. So you've got the Book5 360, the Book5 Pro, and the Book5 Pro 360. Now, obviously, the 360 ones are the 2-in-1s, right? They flip all the way, and they can be used like a tablet, and displays are touchscreens. And I've got the non-360 Book5 Pro, so it goes just about till here, but surprisingly, this too is a touchscreen this time. So all of them are touchscreens now. Sweet. And they are available in different RAMs, display size, and processor options. Now, even though I've got the Book5 Pro, but a lot of what I review is actually common across all variants. So let's start with design. So very classy, very thin, very lightweight, and just really minimal. It's got an aluminum build. The lid is super thin, and it's very easy to lift off with just one hand without really budging the laptop. Fairly fingerprint resistant. The hinge resistance is fantastic. Like, you can really leave it at any angle and it's going to stay stable. I also like how it sort of tapers to a even thinner profile, giving it an even skinnier look. Now, the ventilation happens from here and from here, but you've also got your speaker grill right here. So they are bottom firing, but of course, we're going to test them out ahead in the video. Now, on the left side, you've got an HDMI 2.1 port, two Thunderbolt 4 ports, which also double as display and power delivery ports for charging. And on the right, you've got a 3.5mm audio combo jack, a microSD card reader, and thankfully, at least one USB 3.2 Type A port. And like I said in a previous video, that this port is so underrated because a lot of my pen drives, card readers, and dongles are still using the regular Type A USB port. So just having that, it's really good. Now, the only thing that might bother you is the bottom bezel, which is a little thicker than usual. But then, that extra bezel lets Samsung use the space on the base frame for a larger battery and a large trackpad. And so I really don't mind that trade-off. I mean, it's not like you're gonna get a smaller display. You still get 14 inches, right? Now, let's talk about the display. And this is when the Samsung things really start to show up. It's a really special display and one of a kind on any Windows laptop. It's got an anti-reflective coating and it really works. And it features Samsung's Vision Booster tech. So, you get like really least reflections when you're outdoors and really less glare from light if you're indoors. And even if you do, you can just crank up the brightness and it sort of takes care of that. Other than that, it's a 14-inch dynamic AMOLED 2X display with a 3K resolution and it's 120Hz adaptive display. So it actually adapts the refresh rate between 48Hz and 120Hz depending on what you're doing and kind of really makes this battery efficient. Very crisp display, colors are absolutely fantastic, deep black, super high contrast. I mean, there's no way you can go wrong with this display. Also, it's a touchscreen. It's definitely handy. Sometimes I just feel drawn naturally to, scroll like this and tap, and I think it's convenient, especially when I'm shopping. Just using it as a touchscreen, it just comes naturally. Now, of course, while watching, sound becomes really important, but do keep in mind that this is an ultra-thin laptop, and they generally tend to not have great bass, even though they might have good volume. Now, this one has two tweeters and two woofers, and here's a demo for you. Every other day, me a day with the farm there. Yeah. Telling me a place for the case, a story. Right. Say me no high, me no body. Me a pickle on things, it's a rule on things. When you pull on things, get away. So, as I said, not great with bass, but pretty loud. And that I think is really good for voice calls and video calls. Now, guys, after display, one of the other areas where the Galaxy Book series actually really sets itself apart is on the software front. I mean, it's got a couple of things that you just won't find on any other laptop, especially if you're in the Samsung ecosystem. So, just like we had Circle to Search on phones, there's AI Select on this laptop. So just use it to select anything and it can reverse search whatever you select and give you results on the side. The only thing is that it's powered by Bing and not Google, and I just wish that it would have been Google, but hopefully we would see that sometime later. You could also just use it to tap, on some text and copy it, even if it's just from an image. And so it's really useful that way. There's also Samsung shared storage. So my phone or my tablet can appear as folders in the File Explorer, and I can very easily just access all my files on any of the devices. And of course, that also means I can transfer files easily across those three devices because they're just folders on my computer. And of course, there's universal copy and paste across all your Samsung devices. So I can copy something on the laptop and then go on the phone and paste it there, or vice versa. I could also use my Samsung tablet as a second screen. So even when I'm traveling and I want a dual display setup, I've got it. And then Samsung takes it a step further with multi-control. So I could use the laptop's keyboard to type on my tablet and use the trackpad to navigate my phone kept on the side. And the whole Samsung ecosystem is connected in a way that I don't even need to pick my phone to do most things. So using the Phone Link app, I could reply to all notifications from here, pick up calls, and even make calls from the PC itself. And even have my whole phone mirrored on the PC if I want. I could also access the full gallery, pretty much drag a photo that's on my phone and drop it on a PowerPoint presentation. It's that seamless. But wait, it gets a little crazier. You can connect your Galaxy phone with Microsoft's Copilot. And I could say text Prajwal that I'm going to be late to the studio, including a short apology, and that's it. Just like that, it's going to send it through my phone to Prajwal. Or I could say add a 5 p.m. meeting alarm on my phone, and it is going to set an alarm in the clock app on my phone. Now look, I'm not saying this is earth-shattering stuff, but I think it's a good start. I mean, just think about it, that you could just give simple prompts to your computer and it's going to use your phone to do those things. It's just very new right now, and I think with time it's going to evolve and hopefully do a lot more complicated stuff than just this. Like always, transferring files between your phone or tablet to the Book5 or vice versa is crazy fast. I mean, just the speed with which these devices find each other, connect, and transfer gigabytes of files, it's faster than Apple. I'm not even kidding. Also, like in most other laptops, the webcam on the Book5 Pro uses AI to improve your on-call video presence, with the ability to track you or auto-frame you, blur the background, even keep your eyes pointed to the camera if you're looking elsewhere. And all of this actually uses the NPU on the Intel chip, so it sort of keeps the CPU and the GPU free for other things. What I'm trying to say is that if you already have a Samsung phone and or a tablet, then just a slew of apps and the connected services that's there in the Book5 series, it's just something that no other brand can match up to. Finally, let's jump on to performance. And while the specs are right in front of you, I do want to point out that this laptop is actually made for office goers and students for general productivity. It's really not so much for, heavy professional work like video editing or very graphic heavy gaming or very intense coding and development. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can still get a bit of that done. I mean, I tried editing 4K videos on Premiere Pro and basic editing, color correction, layering music and simple transitions was not an issue. And I could export that 4K video and it was fine. Now, of course, you can't do complex transitions or very heavy graphics. Also, basic Photoshop and Lightroom, not an issue. Even for gaming, I played Valorant and it was playable. Now, obviously, this isn't a laptop that's got a dedicated GPU. So it's going to use Intel's own ARC graphics that's baked onto the chip. So it just about lets you play the game. But no, not a laptop to play AAA titles. But for regular work, like having many tabs open in your browser, have your Word and PowerPoint files open, have Slack on the side, play some music in the background. I mean, load it with all of that simultaneously and it's going to handle it with ease. The laptop doesn't heat up, it's virtually silent, and just all these apps work smoothly. One more thing, I was really excited. So I've got a Wi-Fi 7 router in my studio, and the Book5 series laptops also support Wi-Fi 7 speeds. Basically, Wi-Fi 7 is capable of 4.8 times the speed of Wi-Fi 6. So, I mean, of course, you too are going to need Wi-Fi 7 routers, but if you do have, you're going to enjoy that. So, if you're looking for a Windows laptop that has an Intel chip, really long-lasting battery, and it breezes through everyday office apps or browsing the web or streaming video content, video calls, and so on, it doesn't need to get any better than this. I also really like the spaced-out keyboard. No number pad, you'll get that in the 16-inch variant, but it doesn't feel like a cramped keyboard, which is great for typing comfortably. Though, honestly, I would have preferred a bit more key travel. I mean, personally, for me, it's a bit shallow, but if you're not too particular about, keyboards, this will work just fine. And yes, there is a fingerprint sensor that, you could just tap and it logs you into websites and even, of course, unlock your computer. Like even a light tap on it does the job. You can also use it to just instantly turn off the display and lock your computer. And as I said, just a light tap and you're back into action. The trackpad is actually quite large for a 14-inch laptop. It works really well. The clicks are quite shallow, which is perfect. The only gripe I have, and it's a request to Samsung, please put in a haptic trackpad. I mean, it's really fun to use and just the joy of using a trackpad goes up. Lastly, battery and charging. This will last you a full working day without worrying about charge, assuming regular office work and nothing too demanding. I actually got a close to about 9 to 10 hours with the brightness set to on an average of 40%. But yes, that was mostly indoor use on Wi-Fi. Now it does come with its own 65-watt charger, or you can use any other PD charger, especially if it's 65 watt and above. It's gonna charge just fine. But it does take about an hour 40 minutes to charge full from a 0 to 100%. So let's talk pricing. So the one I've got here is the variant right at the start, and this one starts at 1,31,990. All in all, guys, it's a well-built laptop. It's thin, lightweight, and overall very sleek. It's got a display that's hard to beat, especially with that anti-reflective coating that makes it great for outdoor use. And as I said earlier, it's not meant for enthusiasts. It's not supposed to be pushed to extreme conditions. It's meant for everyday office or student use cases, and it's more than capable to handle complex multitasking. And if you're already in the Samsung ecosystem, then this laptop, like the previous generations of Galaxy Book series, is a no-brainer. But yeah, that's it about the Galaxy Book 5 Pro. If you guys have any other questions that I may not have answered, please feel free to drop them in the comment section. And if you did enjoy watching the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, guys, hit that bell notification icon, and mark all. Really helps the channel grow. I'll see you guys in the next one.